Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, our praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Wakak Kodash Brakathum. Double honor shall go to apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone who continue to teach and to rule well. Shalom to the Akims, a great millstone of like-minded camps and individuals who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out in the highways and byways, risking their lives for the greater good. Shalom to sincere Akwats, who are continuously learning in silence, as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. And also Shalom to the true believers and subscribers of this true gospel, for this should be considered a true blessing from the higher power. This is Azariah Gabar, representing the King is Coming channel, back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. All right, so this lesson, Abaratazah, that I'm going to embark on today is pretty much a sequel to the previous lesson, which was titled Don't Sleep on the Third Woe, or the Third Destruction. All right, because obviously there is a reason why this is going on right now. All right. So the title for my lesson today on this topic is going to be control. Simple, one word, control. Because that's what this is all about when it's all said and done. Because what a lot of people don't know or don't realize is that these Babylonians or these Americans that are over there in the Middle East fighting this war, well, they're fighting the Amalek's war, all right? The Small Hatters war. That's what it's all about. You Babylonians are fighting someone else's war. And that's control. I mean, that's like, you're around the way in your neighborhood. Let's say, you near a school park. Let's say 3 o'clock after school is out for the day. Everybody's going home. But you got a beef with a rival faction, okay? And so the head of that faction is telling you, yeah, you're going to go and fight these other people. What does that mean? That's control. You're being told to go and fight someone else's battles. You understand? So this is what I'm, hopefully this analogy is, edifying. Let's put it that way, because that's what it's about. Like I said, these Babylonians, they're over there, they're getting killed already. All right. Coffins are being sent home. All right. With dead Babylonians, dead soldiers, fighting a war that's an Amalek war. All right. But they try to make it disguised as this is an American war. All right. So I'm not going to blab on too long. So what you see in this video here, the title is Colonel Douglas McGregor. And it says Israel controls the U.S. like never before. All right. Because from the president on down to his cabinet, down to Congress, these Amaleks got control over Babylon. All right. So this is an 18-minute video, and I'm not gonna play in its entirety. but I'm going to play just enough so the point of view is brought forth. And then, of course, after this video, I'll put up a couple of scriptures to back up my point. But before I do so, fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act. Slakia. For this video, strictly for education and edification purposes only. I'm not making a dime off this video, you heard? So I'll let this video play, probably up to 10 minutes. And then we'll go to the scriptures and we'll close it out. Let's go.
There is no national security imperative for the United States at all. Then the question is, for whom is it, and why are we doing this?
For the past 2 years, since October 7th, we rolled them back. We fought a seven-front war against this axis of evil. And thanks to the incredible courage of our soldiers, we rolled back this threat to our existence and to our future. We battered Hamas.
Evil is calling someone else evil. Are you kidding me? This Amalek, boy, I'm telling you. Let's continue.
We hammered Hezbollah. We helped bring down the murderous Assad regime. We struck the Houthis. We attacked pro-Iranian militias. And we also attacked Iran itself. With America's help, we rolled back Iran's nuclear bomb program and its ballistic missile threat. That axis has been greatly weakened, but it's still there. It's licking its wounds. It still chants death to America, death to Israel. I appreciate the efforts that President Trump is making to ensure that those threats against both our countries do not reappear.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us at our next investor.
I mean, that is astounding. That sounds more like a confession than it does bragging about something, because he's talking about 7 wars he's fought. All of them were because of what happened, what their reaction was to 10/7, which itself was a reaction to decades of oppression of the Palestinian people, and it was as predictable as it could be. And then now here he's wanting to drag the United States in by saying, "Oh, well, this is all of our war, all of our threat here." But here's the other issue with that: none of those so-called 7 wars have been solved, and now he wants to start another one.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that Bill Clinton said? If you're deep inside a hole, stop digging. That would probably be good advice for both us and the Israelis, but that's not where we're headed. I think that from the Israeli vantage point, they've never had a better opportunity because they control us to an extent that they never have before.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as they have us in the grip of their control, they want to use us. And so the best thing that can happen is for us to essentially go and attack for them everyone and anyone who presents a threat. I think a few days ago we talked, or maybe it was a week or so ago, and I pointed out that the Turks are sitting there and they're very quickly figuring out that if Iran goes under, that they're probably next on the menu. In fact, an Israeli politician, I think it was Naftali, pointed out Turkey, or Turkey as we say it now, presents potentially a far greater threat to us than Iran. So I guess step 2, after we have utterly reduced Iran to a smoking ruin, is that we'll be asked to do the same thing in Turkey. This can't go on. I don't think this is going to work. I mean, here in the United States, there are a lot of people that buy what he's selling, but I don't think most people do. Certainly the polls don't indicate it. And I think he made this presentation to strengthen people's spines, come on, get in there for us. You got to bring this off. We need you now. It's the 11th hour. We've already got 7 fronts. They're still operating. We haven't won, but we can, and we need you. You got to help us. I think that's the real message. It's a matter of whether or not we agree with him and want to help him. I have always supported helping the Israelis defend Israel, but I never signed on for the conquest of most of the Middle East for the benefit of Israel and its agents here in the United States.
Now, John Mearsheimer has written a book on the Israeli lobby and the AIPAC, and a lot of people will defend and say, how dare you impugn that? Those are
All right, like I said, I didn't want to drag this video on. All right, but you heard what that guy said, that retired colonel. All right. So while this war is going on right now, like I said, these Babylonians are over there fighting these wars for Amalek, but yet Netanyahu, that's what I call his ass. His ass done fled to Germany. Is he digging in the trenches? All right. No, he's not. He fled his ass over to Germany, where he's at right now, in a safe haven. And on top of that, his wife, his son, they're in Miami, chilling down in Miami. And his son looked like he's old enough to, put on the military gear, put those boots on. But nah, his damn son, he ain't gonna fight. Nope. His son is chilling in Miami with over $600,000 a year budget as far as protection is concerned. Him and his mama. All right. So you know what? Like I said, Babylonians, these soldiers, they're coming home into with coffins. They being shipped back home in coffins now, with the American flags draped over them right now. You heard? So you jakes out there that are hell bent on being all you can be, guess what? You're fighting Amalek's wars. You heard? So, like I said, I'm not going to make this video too long. I've already proven my point. But here's a couple of scriptures. Exodus 17:16. And it reads, "For he said, because the Lord had sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." Okay? So, I know I just mentioned that Amalek has control over Babylon, but the ultimate control belongs to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right? Overall, the Lord has control of everything that's going on. And he's the one that's having war with Amalek from generation to generation. And rightfully so. Because what's going to be the end all be all with the Lord's war with Amalek from generation to generation? Well, we go to the book of Numbers 24:20, and it reads, "And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever." Woo! So that's the good news, the good gospel for us true elect men of the Lord. Okay? So, hopefully I've explained to you guys, you Akims and Naquats, the real reason why this war is going on. Because, it's biblical first and foremost. But as far as that deep dive of why it's actually going on, all right? So, That's going to conclude this lesson for today. And as always, hopefully some edification is brought forth. And with that being said, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakakudash, Brakatam, Kwam, Yasharal, Rise Israel. And as always, Abaratazah, Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.